Welcome to the debate. Right now, there are YouTube channels out there with zero on-camera talent, zero expensive gear, and completely AI-generated voices pulling in millions of views a month.
Millions. It's actually crazy.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we're talking about the phenomenon of the Faceless channel, but here is the controversial part. According to recent analysis of the strategies poised to dominate in 2026, most people trying to replicate this model are, well, they're doomed to fail before they even finish editing their first video. And it's for one simple reason. They picked the wrong niche.
See, I look at that exact same data and come to the complete opposite conclusion. People aren't failing because they picked the wrong category on a spreadsheet.
You don't think so?
No, not at all. They're failing because their execution is fundamentally flawed. I mean, a great niche is just an open door, right? It doesn't actually walk you through it.
Right. And that tension is exactly what we're breaking down today. We're examining the underlying mechanisms of building a successful faceless YouTube Shorts channel. And two core questions emerge from the current material.
Yeah, two really big ones.
Exactly. First, is selecting a highly specific niche the absolute prerequisite for channel growth? Or, does granular execution dictate your success regardless of the category?
Right.
And second, if you're a brand new creator starting at absolute zero, does the viral potential of highly shareable content outweigh the slow, steady cultivation of long-term brand authority?
It's a ruthless landscape out there in short-form video. I mean, the algorithm doesn't care about your feelings, and the strategies for survival are fiercely debated among top creators.
Exactly. Now, my position is that niche selection is the bedrock of your entire business. It's the most mathematically and strategically sound decision a creator makes.
Okay, but...
Well, let me just say, choosing the right niche creates what the source material calls a repeatable content system. If you focus on building long-term authority like through AI educational content, for instance, you are establishing a foundation that outlasts fleeting internet trends.
Sure, but...
Without that structural boundary, your execution is basically irrelevant because the algorithm just doesn't know who to serve your content to.
I come at it from a completely different way. Niche selection is vastly overrated as a predictive metric for channel growth.
Overrated?
Vastly. Our source text is very transparent about this. It says a niche doesn't guarantee views. You can choose the most profitable, highly searched, low competition niche on the entire platform, and you will still fail spectacularly if your videos are boring.
Well, nobody wants to make boring videos.
Right. But execution, specifically mastering your hook, your pacing, and viewer retention, that is the actual engine of growth. And when we're talking about a new creator, I'd argue that viral-focused formats are absolutely necessary to break through the initial noise. You can't build authority if no one knows you exist.
Let's actually break down what this looks like in practice, because I think the most significant decision a creator makes happens before they ever open Premiere Pro or, write a single ChatGPT prompt.
Okay, lay it out.
If you choose the AI educational shorts niche, for example, your content is naturally structured around utility. You're teaching a useful skill, like 3 AI tools to automate your email. You're solving a specific problem. By doing that, you establish a long-term relationship with the viewer. They don't just watch one video, right? They subscribe because they know exactly what value you're going to provide next week. You're building a recognizable brand.
Right, but you're assuming they actually stick around to watch the video. You're treating the niche like it does the heavy lifting.
It provides the framework.
But the algorithm actually measures human psychology. It measures whether a viewer swipes away in the first 3 seconds or, if they watch it twice. That is pure execution.
But
if your AI educational video has a monotonous voiceover, or the screen recording is blurry, or you take 10 seconds to get to the point, that foundational blueprint you love so much is just completely useless.
I'm not saying execution doesn't matter. Obviously it does. But I argue that formats and niches are what dictate success because they inherently provide the structure that drives that psychology.
How so?
Well, consider the ranking videos niche mentioned in the text. The top 5 gadgets, top 5 movies, top 5 weirdest historical facts. Why does that work so well? It's not just because the editor put in flashy transitions.
No, it's the pacing.
It's because the niche itself exploits a psychological vulnerability.
You mean the countdown?
Precisely. It's the Zeigarnik effect, the human brain's inability to ignore an incomplete loop. By starting at number 5 and counting down, the niche itself is manufacturing curiosity.
Okay, I see where you're going.
The viewer has a structural reason to stay until number 1. If you're just making random videos without the blueprint of a targeted subject, your execution is just decorating a collapsing house. The niche gives you the scaffolding for retention.
I'm sorry, but I just don't buy that. Let me tell you why. You are attributing the success of a ranking video to the category rather than the execution of the pacing. Let's look at a different niche from the text to test your theory. AI-generated stories.
That's a huge one right now.
Right. This is an incredibly creative, boundless niche. A creator could conceptualize a beautiful story about, I don't know, a mysterious creature living under a cyberpunk city or a robot saving a stray dog.
Yeah.
They can use Midjourney to generate the most stunning, hyper-realistic visuals imaginable and 11 labs for a truly cinematic voice.
Sounds like a great video.
It sounds like it should be, but if nothing interesting happens in the script, if there is no initial hook, if the stakes aren't established immediately, and if there is no emotional payoff at the end, the audience will swipe away instantly.
Well, yeah, the story has to be good.
Exactly. The execution of the narrative arc always overrides the niche category. The text explicitly states, story comes first. Beautiful visuals and a great niche do not automatically create a good video.
I'm not convinced by that line of reasoning because you're treating the story as something separate from the niche. In the AI-generated stories niche, narrative is the foundation. But let's look at the systemic nature of how the platform operates.
Okay.
YouTube builds what we call seed audiences. If you don't constrain yourself to a specific domain, you literally cannot build a recognized channel. If Monday's video is a beautiful, perfectly executed story about a robot, and Tuesday's video is a perfectly executed ranking of kitchen gadgets, your channel will die.
Because of the algorithm?
Yes, because the algorithm gets confused. It showed Monday's video to sci-fi fans, but Tuesday's video is for home cooks. The click-through rate plummets, retention tanks, and the viewer who subscribed for the robot story has absolutely no reason to watch the gadget video.
Right.
The strict boundary of the niche is what allows your execution to actually compound over time.
But the compounding only happens if the viewer stays to the end of the video in the first place. The text is very clear that what actually matters is retention. The algorithm is practically blind to your niche label, It only sees behavioral clusters.
Well,
It sees how a specific group of humans reacts to the stimuli on the screen.
I see why you think that. But let me give you a different perspective. Retention is a metric, yes. But what drives retention over a long period? Trust.
Okay.
And trust is built through the consistency of a well-chosen niche. This actually brings us right into our second core disagreement, the strategy for brand new creators, chasing virality versus building long-term authority. You argue that new creators who are at zero must leverage virality to break through.
Absolutely. They have to. Let's look at the formats the text highlights for this: viral commentary and meme storytelling.
Right.
These formats take a crazy sports moment, an unusual event caught on camera, or a strange internet trend, and the creator acts as the narrator providing context or humor. Why is this so crucial for a beginner? Because they leverage pre-existing cultural momentum.
They're hitching a ride on someone else's trend.
Exactly. The cultural artifact already has energy. Humor creates emotion, and emotional content is highly shareable. If you're a new creator with 0 subscribers, you suffer from the cold start problem. YouTube doesn't know who to show your videos to. Tapping into an existing internet story is a vital catalyst. You need that immediate leverage to get the algorithm's attention. Slow authority building is a luxury a brand new channel simply cannot afford.
That's an interesting point, though. I would frame it differently. Leveraging a meme might get you a massive spike in views, but a spike is not a sustainable business.
It's a start, though.
Is it?
Going viral off a crazy sports moment builds a relationship between the viewer and the sports moment, not the viewer and you. Contrast this with the AI educational shorts niche we discussed. Let's say a creator produces a video on how to fix audio with AI.
Okay.
A viewer watches it because they have a specific painful problem. Your video solves it. What happens next?
They might subscribe.
They don't just subscribe. They binge your catalog. They watch another tutorial, then another. Eventually, they trust that channel as a definitive source of information.
Assuming your tutorials are actually good?
Right. But I mean, the lifetime value of that viewer is massive. The compound interest of authority is mathematically far superior to random viral spikes. You are building a deeply loyal audience rather than a transient one that swipes away as soon as the meme stops being funny. That assumes the new creator can get anyone to watch that first educational tutorial. Educational content is incredibly crowded.
It is competitive, sure.
If a new creator simply posts, "Here are 3 AI tools," it gets buried under 1,000 identical videos. This is exactly why I argue that viral formats are necessary to initiate the discovery phase. You can transition to authority later.
Oh, transition later.
Yeah. Meme storytelling or viral commentary allows a creator to practice the actual mechanics of engagement without needing pre-existing authority.
You're saying it's a training ground?
Yes. It forces the creator to ask, as the text notes, what made this video interesting and how can I create my own version? That analytical mindset, studying why a meme works and recreating that tension is what builds a YouTuber. Just reciting facts about software doesn't teach you how to hold attention.
But relying on pre-existing internet culture walks a very dangerous line regarding platform policies, which brings us to the actual production mechanics.
The rules.
Right. We need to talk about originality, systematic workflows, and how AI facilitates these strategies, because the stakes here are incredibly high. The source material warns explicitly, faceless content is not the same as reused content.
Oh yeah, huge distinction.
If you fall into the reused content trap, YouTube doesn't just lower your views, they actively demonetize your channel. You are effectively blacklisted from making money.
Which is a massive pitfall for people doing the meme commentary poorly.
And the text lays out a rigid 7-step workflow to avoid this. Find the idea, write the script, create the voice, create the visuals, edit, publish, and analyze. I argue that applying this highly systematic workflow to a narrow, authoritative niche is the ultimate guardrail against the demonetization trap. It forces genuine transformation.
Wait, how so? A workflow is just a checklist. Finding an idea and writing a script doesn't guarantee originality.
It does if your niche is educational. If you're teaching, you cannot simply copy what exists. You have to synthesize research. You have to write an original script explaining a complex tool in 60 seconds. You generate your own screen recordings or your own AI visuals to illustrate the point.
Okay, fair.
The very structure of educating forces originality. Conversely, if you're chasing meme stories or viral commentary, the temptation, and frankly the easiest path, is to just rip random videos from TikTok, slap an automated voiceover on them, and hope for a viral hit. A structured niche acts as a guardrail against that lazy execution.
That is a compelling argument. But have you considered that the true transformation, the true originality that YouTube actually rewards, happens in the execution of the hook?
The hook?
Yeah. You keep pointing to the educational niche as the savior of originality, but let's look at the specific examples of hooks provided in our source material. This AI tool can turn one sentence into an entire video. Or, most beginners are using ChatGPT completely wrong.
Those are very strong, curiosity-inducing statements.
Exactly. And what makes them strong is psychological execution, not the niche category. Take most beginners are using ChatGPT completely wrong. That is a brilliant hook because it actively attacks the viewer's ego while simultaneously creating a knowledge gap.
Right.
The viewer thinks, wait, am I using it wrong? I need to find out. That requires a deep, granular understanding of human psychology, which falls squarely under execution.
But you use AI to get there.
The text clearly defines AI as a system that helps you produce faster. It's a production engine. Yes, you brainstorm hooks, you generate voices, you create visuals, but the human judgment applied to that hook is what matters.
I agree with that part.
Think about the 7-step of your workflow. Analyze. What are they analyzing? They are looking at retention graphs. They are finding the exact second where viewers clicked away and iterating on the hook for the next video to fix that specific drop-off. That iterative process of refining the execution is what actually builds a successful channel, regardless of whether you're narrating a meme or explaining software.
I don't disagree that human judgment in crafting the hook and analyzing retention is vital, but consider the long-term reality of running that production engine. If you use AI to endlessly iterate on meme storytelling, you are essentially running on a hamster wheel.
A hamster wheel?
Yes, you have to constantly hunt for the next viral trend to feed the engine. If the trends dry up, or if your specific style of humor falls out of favor, your channel dies.
It's the nature of the beast.
But it doesn't have to be. If you apply that same AI production engine, using it to brainstorm, structure, generate visuals, and edit at scale, to a niche like AI educational shorts, the library of content you create remains evergreen.
Evergreen is good.
A tutorial on fundamental AI prompt engineering is going to be as valuable 6 months from now as it is today. You're using the workflow to build an appreciating asset library, rather than a fleeting series of moments.
Evergreen content is incredibly valuable, yes. But I think you're underestimating the skill required to maintain a commentary or narrative channel and mischaracterizing it as just a hamster wheel. Taking a raw event, researching it, rewriting it, adding your own humor, and building your own presentation, as the text outlines for viral commentary, is a highly transformative act.
It's difficult, sure.
It is the development of a distinct editorial voice. Even if the creator's face is never seen, their voice and their perspective become the brand. That perspective is what viewers return for.
So you're saying that personality is the niche?
Exactly. And let me remind you of the reality for a beginner, which the text addresses directly. It advises making 20 to 30 videos, studying the analytics, and improving before deciding whether to scale.
Right.
A beginner needs rapid feedback loops. They need to know if their pacing is too slow or if their 11 Labs voice setting sounds too robotic. Viral commentary and ranking videos provide that rapid algorithmic feedback much faster than slow burn educational content because the emotional resonance is immediate.
You raise a fair point about the need for rapid feedback loops. Making 20 to 30 videos in a format like ranking videos does allow a creator to test their pacing, their audio mixing, and their editing transitions very quickly.
Exactly.
The natural structure of the countdown gives them a scaffolding to practice those technical skills on. But I maintain that this is just a stepping stone. The ultimate goal, as stated in the material, is to elevate a channel from a mere content farm to a trusted brand. And that transition requires planting your flag in a definitive, recognizable niche.
We may just have to accept that different formats serve different stages of a creator's journey, but I stand by the assertion that the underlying mechanism of success, the absolute core reason a viewer does not swipe away in those critical first 3 seconds, is the mastery of the hook, the story, and the pacing.
Right.
A good niche might get you categorized correctly by the algorithm, but the execution is the ultimate arbiter of success.
Let's look at where our perspectives align, because despite our disagreement on the hierarchy of these elements, I believe there is a profound point of convergence here based on the material. We both agree strongly with the core warning from the text. Faceless content is not the same as reused content.
Oh, absolutely. That is the trap so many new creators fall into. They hear faceless and AI, and they think it means automated, brainless copying.
Right. Whether a creator is taking your path of leveraging the viral potential of internet stories, or my path of building long-term authority through educational shorts, the mandate is exactly the same. The creator must add genuine transformation and value.
Yes.
The deep research, the scriptwriter's human judgment in crafting that ego-attacking hook you mentioned, the original graphics, the specific angle of the storytelling, these are the elements that make the content truly belong to the creator. AI is not the entire business. It is simply the system that helps produce the vision faster.
I completely agree with that.
Transformation is non-negotiable on YouTube today. The barrier to entry is lower than ever. You don't need a massive studio, you don't need expensive cameras, and you don't even need to show your face.
Nope.
But you do need a genuinely good idea, a compelling story, and the discipline to analyze your retention graphs and keep improving. The AI tools are just that. They're tools. Learning how to build with them and how to create actual value for the human being watching on their phone is the real challenge.
It is an incredibly complex balance, isn't it? Navigating the tension between establishing a sustainable, authoritative niche and meeting the immediate, ruthless demands of algorithmic retention. If you're listening to this and wondering where to start, the beauty of these systems is that the AI acts as your research assistant, your voice actor, and your editor.
But you still have to be the director.
Exactly. There is certainly much more nuance to explore in this material, particularly regarding the specific technical tools used for voice generation, automation workflows, and how AI video creation is evolving literally months to month.
There really is. The landscape of these production tools changes so rapidly that the execution strategies we're debating today will undoubtedly have to adapt right alongside them. I mean, what works today might look archaic in 6 months.
Which is why understanding these foundational mechanics is so crucial. You can debate the relative importance of the architect's structural blueprint versus the granular execution of the storyteller all day long. But perhaps the most profound realization is that a successful channel requires both the grand vision of its structure and the psychological precision of every single hook. We will leave it to the listener to decide which of those factors ultimately weighs most heavily on a creator's success. Thank you for joining us on the debate.